Hey there, it's Teacher Elizabeth with another art tutorial for you. Today we're going to be working with words as well as pictures by creating a haiku poem and illustrating it. But before we begin, I need to let you know what art materials you need. Colored pencils, a ruler, a pencil, and 3 sheets of paper. Now on to the haiku. A haiku is traditionally a Japanese poem consisting of 3 short lines that do not rhyme. The first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the third line has 5 syllables. So let's try it out. If we sound out the first line of this poem, an old silent pond, we'll see that it has 5 syllables. When we go to the second line, a frog jumps into the pond, we'll see that it has 7 syllables. And then the third line, splash, silence, again, we'll see that there are 5 syllables. So what I'm doing is I'm sounding out each word to figure out how many syllables there are, just like you did when you were learning to read when you were a kid. Now, to create a poem, we have to come up with a theme. Our theme today is going to be our happy place. Where is that place you like to be or the thing you like to do? And we're going to brainstorm on that. Please take out one of those 3 sheets of paper and write at the top of it, my happy place is, and then you fill in the blank. For me, my happy place is when I'm mountain biking. After you figure out what your happy place is, you're going to write 3 questions. The first question, how does it make me feel? The second question, what do I see? And the third question, what do I hear? You're going to answer each one of those questions using free association writing. Now, free association writing means that you just write whatever comes to mind and you don't worry about grammar or spelling. It's just a free flow of ideas that you're writing down onto paper. So for me, when it comes to how does mountain biking make me feel, it makes me feel free, healthy. I love the rhythmic breathing when I ride my bike. The oxygen to my brain makes me feel happy, less stressed, and I think more clearly. So I have words, and then I have phrases, and I have complete sentences, but I don't care about punctuation, grammar, or spelling. I need you to go through each one of those questions and take your time in answering them in a free association style of writing. Once you've completed that step, I want you to read everything that you've written. After you read it, I want you to read it again, but this time I want you to underline the words and phrases that you like the best. Which parts of what you've written really feel the most true to you? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you see? Underline only the parts that speak to you the most. Please take this step. Now, on a second sheet of paper, please rewrite all the underlined words and phrases and sentences, like I've done here. From these words and phrases is going to come your haiku poem. Remember, the first line needs to be 5 syllables, the second line needs to be 7 syllables, and the third line needs to be 5 syllables. So this is where you're going to be working independently to create your haiku with the 5-7-5 format. So from my brainstorming session and my underlined words, phrases, and sentences, this is the haiku I came up with. The next part is to figure out how you want to do the layout. Where do you want the words to be? What kind of font do you want to use? And what kind of drawing do you want to pair with the poem? The best way to accomplish this is by doing these small studies first before you start on the final project. So I picked my third box, and what I'm showing you here is that I'm using a ruler for when I begin writing out my poem onto my final sheet of paper. I think it's helpful to have these straight lines so that you can place your letters evenly throughout the picture. Don't worry about being perfect. It's not about being perfect. This is an expression and this is fun. Once you have all the words written, then you need to draw the illustration. I kept mine super simple. I thought about the open spaces, so I have a sunset in the distance with some hills, and then I have a path because that is supposed to indicate my mountain bike trail that I'm on. And then from there, I just using some diagonal lines for sun rays. Please keep the illustration simple and fun. We don't need to draw anything realistic. We could just use patterns, colors, and designs if you so choose. Or you can draw something more realistic if you're someone who draws. It's totally up to you how complex you want to make the illustration. Once you've completed the drawing, then you're going to go over the letters with the colored pencils. After that, you're going to color in your background. Those, of course, will be done any way you want. The one thing I want to show you, however, is how to do a gradation with colored pencil. First, you'll want to identify which colors you want to combine together for a gradation. I'm using red, orange, and yellow. So the red is my first color, and I fill in a portion of the white with the red, and then when I move on to my orange, I overlap the red a little bit, and then I keep moving up, covering the white paper with the orange until I want to transition into another color, which is going to be yellow. So then I overlap the yellow on top of the orange and then start covering more of the white paper where the sun ray is. After that, I take the orange and I layer over the yellow to make the transition from orange to yellow a little softer. So it's not quite a strong orange next to a strong yellow. It's more like an orange to a orange to a yellow. It's important to overlap the colors to create the transition. And then I use the yellow over the whole entire ray on top of the red and orange to marry all the colors together. Now I'm moving on to the sky behind the rays, and I'm going to create another gradation. This time the gradation is going to come solely from that blue pencil. Wherever I want the blue to be darker, I will layer more colored pencil to it. Wherever I want it to be lighter, I will lighten up on the pressure of the colored pencil to make a lighter blue. So only one color is creating all these different gradations of blue. The white of the paper is going to show through the blue to make it look light, and you'll use your finger to blend it. So you won't totally cover the entire white area with the blue. You'll put a little bit of the blue and then use your finger to blend it to make a really light blue. And then where you want it to be dark, you're going to layer more blue. Once you layer all of the blue that you would like, then I want you to take the white colored pencil and go over all the blue. It does a great job of blending the color together and softening the texture. Next, you're going to draw over all the words so that the lines are nice and clean, and they also will pop against the color behind them. You'll notice I'm using that piece of paper underneath my hand. It keeps me from blending the colors and getting colored pencil on my hand. Now that I've retraced over all of my letters and colored in the background, I need to color in the sun, the hills, and the rest of the picture. At this stage in the project, you'll have something completely different than me, and you'll be coloring it in any way you want. You've made it to the end of the lesson. Congratulations. I hope you've created something inspirational and beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to be creative today.